The Marine Corps is revered for its marksmanship program in many circles. Let's take a look at why their program works. One key aspect of this is the Marine Corps maintains formal marksmanship courses, such as the Marine Marksman course and the Marksmanship Coach course. There are official MOS designations for instructors, such as 0931 and 0933. The key point here is this is not something that is just randomly assigned.
When aboard Edson Range for rifle training and qualification, the recruits will meet a new kind of instructor, the primary marksmanship instructor.
Primary marksmanship instructors is a completely different world. Drill instructor's job is to teach them discipline, and it's to ride them all day long. Really important role. It's actually a really drastic role. It introduces the recruits to the weapon system, the M16A4, the different firing positions that we teach here, a whole lot of concepts and methods that we use for shooting that they've never heard before and that actually work really well. It gives them 5 days pretty much to train for when they go down range next week to shoot. You still feel stable?
Yes, sir.
Contrast this to the U.S. Army approach, which maintains that any NCO with the FM should be able to teach marksmanship. Now, the Army has excellent shooters. Just go visit the Army Marksmanship Unit at Fort Benning or any of the Army Marksmanship programs, such as the National Guard Marksmanship Training Unit or the Army Reserve Marksmanship Program. There's also great marksmanship courses that the Army puts on, things that rival anything the Marine Corps is doing for sure. The difference is that none of these are required. It's up to what the unit decides to do, and if the unit isn't staffed or led by personnel that know any of these things, well, you're going to get results from someone in charge that we haven't bothered to check if they're even aware of what the current manual even is, much less that they've read it. Another aspect the Marine Corps does a good job with is dry practice. They maintain snap-in week or grass week during basic training. It's so called because most of the tasks occur in the grass, on the ground, practicing positions. This typically takes place during the 6th week of basic, and it's a lead up done prior to live fire shooting. You have to learn how to get in position, and every good shooter knows that dry practice or snapping in is a great way to do this. The next good aspect of this program is shooting on targets that give you full feedback.
During firing week, the recruits are also assisted by range coaches, Marines who are designated as experts on the rifle, who will help the recruits shoot more effectively on the range.
Regardless of the size of the targets used or the score value for any particular shot, the fact that you get to see the exact location of every shot and every group fired at full distance is critical to learning, and every Marine gets to experience that. Contrast this with the Army norm of using pop-up targets exclusively. Even on those shots that do hit, the shooter never gets to see where on the target that particular shot lands. And of course, shots that miss, there's zero feedback of where it went, which means the shooter never gets to see and therefore can't really learn from what it is they're doing right and what it is they're doing wrong. Last but not least, shot process development, particularly use of a data book. Now, a scorebook is not something that you're going to be taking in the field, probably. But the idea is to formalize what it is that you're learning on the range and help turn that feedback into a developed shot process. Taking notes makes you pay better attention and helps learn and retain what it is you're seeing from what it is you're doing. The Marine Corps has done a good job with using various data books over the decades. The Army did this too, and it was initially part of the Train Fire program. The problem is, over the decades, largely because there's no formal cadre to enforce published standards, This concept just eventually got dropped, and it ceased being the norm and has gotten to a point where most soldiers have never shot on targets with full feedback, particularly at distance, and have never used any kind of tool to help learn a shot process the way the Marine Corps does. In the next series of videos, we'll discuss how good the Marine Corps program works in practice. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, share, and comment below.